What happened to the shotgun? If you don't already know, what we knew as the shotgun in Halo has been replaced with a new weapon in Halo Infinite, the Bulldog. It's beefy, it's got a drum mag, it's got a pump handle, it sucks? In an unprecedented move, 343 has ended the reoccurrence of one of the oldest weapons in Halo's weapons sandbox. And many fans are less than thrilled. I'm the Home Slice, Ascend Period. Today, we're going to explore the Bulldog, as I explained why putting function over damage is a pretty good idea, up until it isn't. Load 'em up, Spartans. We're going to figure out why 343 got rid of the shotgun, right after a message from today's video sponsor. Thanks again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Let's cut to the chase. Today, I'm here to talk to you about one of the best RPGs on the market today, Raid Shadow Legends. Now, there's probably very little I could tell you about Raid, considering it's one of the biggest household names in gaming today. But I guess I could tell you about how there's literally hundreds of champions to choose from. Now, if you're like me and you like choosing some of the more obscure or lesser used characters in RPG, you don't have to worry in this game about accidentally selecting the second worst champion. You can progress and kit out your champions to turn them into absolute monsters on the battlefield. And what's better is that you don't even have to go it alone. I highly recommend joining a clan in this game to link up with others and take on greater challenges like clan bosses. So if you want to take your special character out for battle against others, you definitely can, as both PvP and PvE are well integrated into this game. This month, Raid is full of cool Halloween themed events. If you want a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description or scan my QR code that's been hovering on the screen, and you'll get an epic hero, Chonaru, who is amazing in the Doom Tower. You'll get 200,000 silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard. So if you're not already one of the millions of people playing Raid Shadow Legends, don't wait. Use the link in the description below and get started today. Claim your special rewards, valid for the next 30 days. Up until this point, my coverage of Halo Infinite has highlighted how the game puts function on a higher platform than damage in terms of its design of its weapons. And we can isolate key functions to observe this trend, like how the scatter shot's bouncing projectiles became the entire design basis of the heat wave. But what if the function of a gun was its damage? Well, this case of the proverbial snake eating itself is true for the shotgun. As simple as it gets, the gun does more damage the closer you are to your enemy. And it's actually one of the few tier 2 weapons that can insta-kill in the right scenario. So unlike other weapons that have interactive fire or tracking, the shotgun is literally defined by its ability to do high amounts of damage. Book open, book closed. And then Halo Infinite rolls around. I mean, to 343's credit, how do you iterate the function of a weapon when the function is literally just to do damage? You can only adjust those two things, the damage and the range over which you can do it. 343's only real choice was to try to edit this fundamental aspect of the shotgun. If you've used the Bulldog, you've probably noticed that it has a higher effective range than the shotgun did traditionally. This is the result of the projectiles of the Bulldog being grouped together closer for longer than the shotgun ever did. So, despite the fact that a Bulldog can't one-shot an enemy, you can drag it into fight scenarios that a regular shotgun would never be applicable for. So, from a certain perspective, that is an advantage the Bulldog has over its sister weapon. So, the question is now, is that good enough? Is it good enough to replace one of the oldest weapons in Halo's sandbox history? Is that function unique enough to defend this weapon in one of the most diversified sandboxes in Halo's history? No. No, it's not. Here's the thing, I think 343 spun their wheels a little bit on this one. I understand that they want Halo Infinite to be about function over damage, but that doesn't mean you can completely neglect damage in the design of your weapon. While the Bulldog is a neat concept in a vacuum, when you throw it in the Halo Infinite sandbox and compare it to its peers, it's dull. It can't shine amongst an all-star lineup of both returning and new weapons. And funny enough, this isn't even the first time this has happened in Halo's history. Think back to the plasma rifle in Halo 3, the suppressor in Halo 4, the Magnum in Halo 2. These are examples of weapons that are probably fine alone, but when you stack them up against the other weapons in the sandbox, they simply don't compare. In 343's attempt to make a fundamental change to the shotgun platform, they forgot one of the unspoken fundamental factors of it: risk versus reward. To use a shotgun is to expose yourself to threat levels and possibilities typically you can avoid. You're increasing your exposure to grenades, to melee, and you're also risking running into a player who also is running a close quarters weapon, potentially one better than you, or maybe they're better at using it than you. The Bulldog does not reward you for fighting within COVID distance, and ironically enough, it doesn't really reward you for fighting outside of COVID distance either. So if this gun is obviously subpar, why is it in the game? Well, for that, we need to turn our eyes to campaign. Let's not forget, Halo is more than just a multiplayer arena shooter experience. It has a single player PvE experience. I'm sure the Bulldog is great for just tearing into crowds of grunts or shredding the armor off of brutes. And that might be the half step that Halo players are missing right now. The Bulldog may be one of the few weapons in Halo Infinite that is tailored more directly for campaign than it is for multiplayer. And while many of the guns in Halo Infinite are cleverly tailored to kind of pull off both experiences, I don't think the Bulldog quite does it. On top of all that, with the replacement of the scatter shot and the removal of the typical shotgun, the shotgun weapon class is lacking any real strong representation in the sandbox presently. There isn't a real flagship weapon carrying that mantle for the risk versus reward, close quarters brawler type weapon. And so it's just not the Bulldog that players might be upset with. It might be this void in the weapon experience that has people heightened up as well. So for today's viewer question, let me ask you this. Is there a different weapon class in Halo Infinite that's also lacking some real strong representation in the game? I could think of one or two. What about you? That's gonna do it for this video. Like it if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, follow me on Twitter, and join my Discord linked below. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.